Okay, I call this meeting of the Newburyport School Committee on September 24th, 2022 order. Attendance, Mr. Reardon.
Here.
Mr. Hochheiser.
Here.
Mr. Callahan.
Here.
Sheila Spalding.
Here.
Steve Cole.
Here.
Bruce Menon here, and Mayor Holaday is somewhere on the internet. I need a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing contract negotiations, possible litigation, and legal matters. And we may come back to public meeting.
So moved.
Second.
It's a roll call vote.
Oh.
Do we have a second?
Second, me, Brian.
Okay. Mr. Reardon,
Yes.
Mr. Callahan,
Yes.
Sheila Spalding,
Yes.
David Hochheiser,
Yes.
Stephen Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Holaday,
Yes.
and Bruce Menon, yes. This meeting will stay open, although we are now going to shift to the other Zoom link for the executive session. I believe the attorney is actually already there. So we have to check out of this meeting, check into the next one, and then we will check back.
Yep. Okay, we are recording again. This is back. What's that? Oh, yeah, right. You know what? I was going to ask you about that. Bruce, you and I are the only ones here so far, but do we have to say, hey, we're back, or come in again or whatever, or we just happen to be back here?
No, we're back here because the executive session is over. You know, we're going to wait for the mayor to return to start up this public session.
Okay, so it's recording right now, so just so everybody knows.
Great. Yes, we have just taken a vote on a letter of resolution for the complaint, and we are waiting to notify the union president, and will then in public session take a vote to approve the resolution.
Okay.
Brian, is the superintendent sitting in your lap now?
There he is.
I just don't see him here yet. There he
Yeah, we're
is.
gonna go skateboarding.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm gonna use the toboggan though.
Hey, Bruce,
Yeah.
regarding the fundraising thing that came in today, the NAF and soccer and all that stuff, are we able to take a vote to amend this current agenda so that we can vote on that? Because there won't have time to get it all sorted before the event.
Yeah, what I would probably suggest is that before we start, when the mayor gets back, we amend the agenda and add the NEF fundraiser. And then we will ask Sean to tell us what that is about after we have voted to amend. And we can vote. We can suspend our rules about readings and vote.
Bruce, I got a quick question. Could we just take that? Could I just take that and push it to the finance subcommittee and have them approve it?
Via email?
Or do we need to do it in committee of the whole via email?
Technically, it would go through finance, but I think that they didn't, isn't there a sense of urgency about?
There is. And it's kind of new, like Kyle's, I think, making people fill out this form, and it's taking people off guard because they never did it before.
Okay. I mean, we can,
It's up to
I
you.
think under normal circumstances, it probably would go through finance,
Okay,
but given that the NEF has like one day more before they've got to release
yeah,
the,
it's the soccer
golf course.
boosters, and it's not an NEF. 100%.
Yeah.
Is NEF involved?
Right.
okay.
They're using like their software or something.
Yeah.
We had actually said in policy, Sean, that anything coming through the NEF operates under different guidelines, and we had talked about you being able to just to go ahead and approve those.
Oh,
All right, that
Because
works.
NEF, we didn't really consider NEF to be under any of the same regulations as the smaller fundraising things that people were being kind of upset about.
Yeah. So this is a little combo. It's a little NEF and a little boys soccer team. So, but what I'll do is if I can just take care of that, then what I'll do is I'll have the principals and reiterate that we want all the fundraising to go through the finance committee first. It's like a new process, so that people are just trying to wrap their heads around it.
I think that's pretty reasonable. So we won't amend the agenda.
okay.
I believe the mayor has joined us.
Yep.
Terrific.
Unfortunately, I had a little issue with the scan and I didn't want to delay and have to redo it a second time. So it will go out fairly quickly.
Mayor, I can have Joanne.
You need my signature on it.
Oh,
That's why I thought it would be so easy just to scan it and it just.
I can sign your name.
No, you can't, sir. Sorry.
I'm teasing.
Of course you are. All
You
right.
are getting pretty good at it though, Sean.
Anyway, it will go shortly. All right, we're back.
Okay, we're back in open session. The only item on the agenda is a response to the open meeting law complaint that is dated September 10th, 2020. We have a letter that has been prepared by our attorney. We have met in executive session and are coming out of executive session to take a vote on it again. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Uh-oh.
A
Second.
second. Do I have a second?
Hochheiser moved. I seconded.
Done. Okay. We have discussion. Do we want to read the letter aloud?
Yes.
I suppose that's me, right?
I'll read it.
I think the
I have
mayor, her
it
name's
right
on it.
here. Dear Mrs. Sheehan, this letter is in response to your open meeting law complaint dated September 10th, 2020, and is sent to the chair of the school committee on the same date. A copy of your complaint is attached. After reviewing your complaint, the committee has voted to provide you with this response. The open meeting law defines meeting in pertinent part as, quote, a deliberation by a public body with respect to any manner within the body's jurisdiction, unquote, MGL Chapter 30A, Section 18. A deliberation is an oral or written communication through any medium, including electronic mail, between or among a quorum of a public body, or on any public business within its jurisdiction, with exceptions not applicable. With regard your allegations that the committee members texted during a school committee meeting. While some members of the committee did send text messages on their private devices during the meeting in question, each of those members has confirmed that any such messages were sent to individuals who were not members of the committee. As such, these messages were not deliberations or otherwise governed by the open meeting law. No text messages were exchanged between members of the committee during this meeting, though one member did hand another member a handwritten note asking her to speak up for purposes of the Zoom audio. However, because this note was exchanged between less than a quorum of the school committee, it does not constitute a deliberation under the open meeting law. Based on the foregoing, the committee denies any violation of the open meeting law occurred in relation to these allegations. With regard to your allegations about a gathering at a resident's home to which committee members and city councilors were invited, after reviewing this matter, we have determined that Brian Callahan was the only member of the committee who was invited to or attended this meeting, and Mr. Callahan did not consult with other members who did not attend regarding this meeting. As such, less than a quorum of the committee attended this meeting and did not constitute a meeting governed by the open meeting law. Further, while the committee understands one city councilor may have also attended this meeting, such attendance does not affect the committee's compliance with the open meeting law. Based on the foregoing, the committee denies any violation of the open meeting law occurred in relation to these allegations. With regard to the remaining allegations raised by your complaint, the open meeting law does not prohibit members of a public body from creating proposals, such as the reopening plan in question, or from submitting them in meetings. Nor does the open meeting law regulate personal conduct of such members during meetings or the committee's compliance with local policies and rules. Further, after a review, we have determined that members of the committee did not deliberate regarding the proposed plan outside of the meeting at which it was submitted. As such, the committee denies that any violation of the open meeting law occurred in relation to these allegations. Notwithstanding the above, we as a committee strive for transparency and integrity in our work and to assure the public that we are meeting our obligations under the open meeting law. To this end, committee members have committed to refrain from unnecessary texting during committee meetings to avoid perceived open meeting law violations. And further, the committee has voted to schedule a workshop to review its policies regarding board governance and operations and the open meeting law. In addition, while your allegations do not constitute violations of the open meeting law, the committee nonetheless wishes to address the concerns you have raised and to maintain the strong working relationship we have developed with the Newburyport Teachers Association. As such, the committee invites you as NTA president to meet with the superintendent and me as chair of the committee to discuss your concerns, and we will report back to the committee on the results of this meeting. I hope that this meeting will allow us to better understand and address your concerns and to move forward with a common goal of maintaining the district's high educational standards while promoting the health and safety of our school committee during this unprecedented school year. The superintendent will contact you separately to schedule such a meeting. We trust this response addresses your concerns. Thank you, Donna Holaday, Chair of the School Committee.
Do we have further discussion? Do a roll call vote on this. Sean Reardon,
Yes.
Brian Callahan,
Yes.
Sheila Spalding,
Yes.
Dave Hochheiser,
Yes.
Steve Cole,
Yes.
Mayor Holaday,
Yes.
Bruce Menon, yes. We have passed this resolution 7-0. The attorney has suggested that we have a conversation about setting up a workshop. I'm reminding everybody that this is something we tried to do 3 or 4 times before the pandemic and kept getting postponed. Is this something that we want to do ourselves, or is this something we want to ask the Mass Association school committees to help facilitate?
I think whoever can do it sooner, because we kept being delayed, whether it's through, our school legal team, who certainly have given us training in the open meeting law in the past. That certainly could probably happen much more quickly. And I think they do a great job. And, Peter certainly worked with us well on this process.
Mm-hmm. I'm fine with that. Do we want to pin down a day? Do we want to ballpark a day?
Well, maybe, Sean, maybe what could happen is if you reach back out to Michelle and Peter and give us some of their availability, during the month of October, and hopefully we can schedule something fairly soon.
Yes, I will do that.
I think that's I'm fine with that.
In addition, I would also ask that you move forward to reach out to Mrs. Sheehan and ask her, to schedule the meeting with the 3 of us so that we can continue this discussion, so that we can, again, move forward as we've all cited in this letter.
Right.
Being that there were no violations of the open meeting law, isn't it even, I guess, more applicable that we have a conversation about what might be perceptions and how, I guess, just how to conduct meetings that don't require waiting for, just things that we could do at our regularly scheduled business meeting that don't require waiting for a legal team?
Agreed, David, and I think we talked a little bit about that. So unless there is an emergency that we have agreed that there would be no texting during a meeting, if you do have to take or respond to a call, I think we saw it happen when we came back out of executive session where one of our school committees, stepped outside and responded to a text. So I think that can happen if we, need to be careful about the perception. The other piece that we talked about was being a lot better about following Robert's Rules of Order, so that there is, whether it's Zoom where you do hand raising or you just raise your hand so you're recognized by the vice chair chairing the meeting, then that should reduce some of the, talking over, interruptions, some of the other issues that were raised. And I know we, have talked about this before and have really made attempts, and then for some reason, we just don't follow those procedures. So I'm asking all of us to really, work very hard to make sure that we follow Robert's rules. Sean, did you pass out that handout at the meeting on the
Robert's rules?
Robert's rules?
No, but we can get it. We can get it sent out either tonight or tomorrow.
Right, it's a little cheat sheet. It's
Just a little cheat sheet, yeah.
It just gives you some basic information.
Yeah.
We don't need to get into the full text of the latest version of parliamentary procedure by any means. But for
I would
our
also-
purposes, I think it's really important that we run through some of the protocols.
That's fine.
I would also suggest that we can probably have a better conversation about perceptions after Joan Sheehan and the superintendent and the mayor have met. We can hear what the issues are, what the concerns are.
And we should do that as soon as
That's fine too.
Sure. Okay.
Do I have a motion?
Can I make
adjourn?
one? Can I make one final suggestion?
Yeah.
That while we're talking about all this, I think there's a lot of our processes that might need some either buttoning up or confirming or just discussing. I think we've been through a lot of things over the past couple months, some of which have gone what I would consider pretty poorly. And so maybe we could just have some sort of reflection about the whole process that we went through from, mid-March up until now, and how that's happened, because I think there's been some internally heated moments between us that just show that we could probably stand to have a conversation about how we operate.
Well, I think we're due for another retreat.
Okay, I think,
And maybe we could do it the same time as the open meeting law if it works. You know, we could have that training as part of a several-hour retreat where we could have the, you know, Robert's Rules Parliamentary Procedure refresh and have an open conversation about this.
okay, sounds great.
Okay,
Terrific. Do I now have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned.